How you doing out there? Welcome back to the Turtle and the Tiger. Today we're going to do a little tech talk on Anode rods for your hot water heater. I bought these on Amazon. They came as a 2-pack, which is always a good idea to have a spare. They came with obviously 2 rods and some sealant tape. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to empty out the water heater by taking the rod out, and I'm going to turn the pump on, flush as much of the water out as we can, retape one of the new rods, put the rod in, and put some more water in it and do a leak check on it. So stick around. Okay, so I basically got a breaker bar and a 1 1/16 socket, which is the size of the head on the anode rod, and I spritzed a little penetrating oil on it because it looked a little grody, but it's pretty loose. But we'll get some, I'm sure we'll get some water pressure out of there, like that. Anyway, that's what the rod looks like. That's what I look like. Well, needless to say, it probably is helpful to take the pressure off the system before you take the anode around, even if you turn off the pump. But that's okay. So anyway, take the pump off line and then bleed off the pressure through one of the faucets or whatever until you're sure you've got 0 pressure, and then take out the anode rod. All right, let's take a look at it. Let me get it, and I'll give you an idea what the old one looks like and what the new one looks like, so you can see a comparison. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll put it against my sweatshirt here. That's what the old one looks like, and this is the new one. So it's doing its job, and you should do this about once a year. You know, just to make sure that the water is eating your rod and not your hot water heater. Just don't forget to turn the pump off and bleed off the pressure. So I've got the pump on just to push as much water out of there as I can. Hopefully flush some of that out. Okay, got a little Teflon tape here, and we're just going to go ahead and put it back in and torque it gently, and we'll do the leak check. Good. See how the leak check works out. Well, we got the leak check done, and unfortunately it did leak a little bit. So I took the anode back out again, went through the whole procedure of taking it back out and draining some of the water out of it. Come to find out that the thread tape that they give you in the kit, I don't think is substantial enough. So I used some thread tape that I had on hand. Worked great, wrapped it, put the anode back in, ran it on a leak check on pressure for about 24 hours, and it hasn't leaked at all. So when you order these, you might want to make sure you have some decent quality Teflon thread tape on hand, because the thread tape they give you may not be the greatest, and it certainly probably won't be enough for 2 anodes anyway. So it might not hurt to get some on hand. Second, I probably will be changing this more often, considering the shape that it's in. and maybe every 3 to 6 months probably wouldn't hurt. We don't use the hot water heater that often, so it can be easy to forget about it, so I just put a reminder on my phone. Other than that, some of the tips: don't forget to bleed off the pressure. Make sure that the system is cool. But you can run the faucets and to make sure both of those items are covered. Get yourself some extra Teflon tape. It's a 1 1/16 socket, shallow as you can. You'll notice sometimes when you put the socket in this thing to thread it in, it sort of goes up into the heater at an angle, and it's a little difficult to do that with your fingers. So what I did is I used the socket and the extension to do that, but because the socket, even a shallow one, is sort of deep, I put something behind it to make the thread stick out a little bit more, and I had a little bit more play with it and more control with it in terms of starting the threads without crossing it. So that's something to think about. Anyway, I hope this was informative and entertaining to an extent. So if you liked what you saw here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, and we'll see you next time on The Turtle and the Tiger. Take care now.